Welcome back to FNM TV. We got round 2, Antonio Illis versus Corey Patient. I'm flying solo once again this week for this week's recordings. I'm going to see what I can do about getting in a guest in JT's absence. He has some prior engagements he had to attend to for these last 2 weeks. So hope JT can get all that finished up. We'd like to have him back on the show. Need my co-host. Be able to bounce off, provide you guys some more entertaining conversation than just little old me. But we got Corey playing a Flare Husk, equipped with a Germ token, and playing what I believe is a Feast and Famine. So getting that start with off the dice roll, very, very crucial for a deck with such a low mana cost curve, and that relies heavily on being one ahead. And Antonio with a Shatter coming straight out of the sideboard. Good to know you hit your stuff, especially keeping that bad boy off the field. Antonio not playing any games, bring out that Tumble Magnet, setting up for any unseen equipment that he has to deal with. Big ones to watch out for, obviously any of the swords of protection that have come out, finishing off that cycle. Another big one other than that is Argentum Armor. Argentum Armor is huge. So Antonio will end up paying 4 life, bringing out that Molten Steel Dragon. And here, in these next few turns, I believe, we're going to see some ridiculous shenanigans going on here. Now, you guys know sometimes I watch these in advance just to give a little bit more positive commentary. Now, I haven't watched these in about, honestly, a week. I did the original editing work first, and this interaction actually stayed with me because I found it absolutely hilarious. So, he's going to bring out Phyrexian Metamorph. Antonio's still going to keep his, obviously, his Molten Steel and his Tumble Magnet untapped. No need to really tap when you can just trade it away if you really need to. So, yeah, Flare Husk doesn't really do a whole lot here, seeing as both parties can just pump up by either paying life or 1 red mana, where Antonio actually has the advantage of just being able to pay the red mana if he really needs to. But it looks like Antonio's sitting on a Kuldotha Phoenix in his hand. I can't tell what else. I think another Molten Steel. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he has a Galvanic Blast too. But need another artifact for that to get up. So we'll play another Molten Steel. Yep, pay some more life away. What do you guys think about the Phyrexian mana? Phyrexian mana, is it a good? Is it bad? Do you like what potential free spells can do to the game? I mean, granted, the free spells that we do have are not really too crazy, considering the counterspell that we have for it, and another Phyrexian Metamorph copying, and another Phyrexian Metamorph copying. So just metamorphs up the wazoo over here for Corey, just keeping those Molten Steels in check. But what do you think about Surgical Extraction is pretty much a conditional Memoricide. I think it's a bit better, considering if you're running it in black, you can discard whatever you really need to out of their hand and then use it all in the same turn, whereas Memoricide, you're tapping 4 mana and tapping yourself out usually on that turn because it's your key part of your deck to take out whatever you're playing against that you really don't want to see. So, it's very interesting to see what Phyrexian Mana is going to end up doing to this format. Like right now, you can see some of the effects. In fact, actually, this is after Cobblade is left. At our FNM last week, Infect made a huge showing. I don't know how it happened, but Infect seems to be... It seems to be there in terms of a powerful deck. I think it was just certain elements holding it back from being the deck. and now seeing some things, it's definitely, I think it's definitely a contender. I played a mono green variant. My friend Ronald, who is a relatively new player, also with Antonio, was playing blue black, in fact, and both made a big splash. Ronald got second, only losing on tiebreakers to regular blue black control. Mono green, in fact, no, sorry, not mono green. It's green blue. That's what it was. Charlie was into playing green blue. And luckily I had some mental missteps in my sideboard to keep that game stabilized. But in the end, I ended up losing that one playing my version of black-blue control. Just a lot of bad luck getting mana screwed. But I can't say anything about it, Charlie. He played really well, and his deck was very, very interesting. So right here, there's going to be a Galvanic Blast on the Metamorphosis copying the Molten Steel. I believe it's because blocks were declared that this issue is going around. I was too busy chatting to all of you about the current week's FNMs. So, we got a batter skull coming out from Corey. Big pain in the butt. One of the last weeks that it'll be so prevalent in the format. Not to say it won't see play, but obviously batter skull is huge for the reason that it gains you life in Cobblade, and it's easily cheat out. It's a 4/4 with vigilance that even if you remove it, it's never really truly gone because of its ability. And Antonio just wrecking those metamorphs one after another. Getting a profitable trade, getting rid of one immediately, and then Galvanic Blasting 2 out. And he still has that Koldath Phoenix in hand, which can make a nice swing in. But with 2 Tumble Magnets, he really doesn't have to do a whole lot at this point, as long as he uses those profitably and very smart. Tumble Magnets are not something that you just want to use with no regard to the board position. Those 3 counters are very, very vital to your board stabilization and potentially winning the game, seeing as you can use them both on offense and defense. Antonio will play what looks to be a Cunning Spark Mage, be able to keep that Flare Husk in check, in case he decides to get any ideas about transferring it over to the Flare Husk Germ. I don't know why he would. You could just transfer the Flare Husk on over to the Equip Batter Skull. So he's going to play sort of War and Peace. And Coral will tap on the 2 to equip it to that. Antonio, in response, could have killed with the Cunning Spark Mage, which wouldn't have been an issue. Assuming that is a Flare Husk. Flare Husk only gives +1/+1, so I believe I'm correct in saying that. Unless there's something that I'm not seeing. But it's not that huge of it's not that big of a deal. It just saves the Tumble Magnet counter, which I was actually just talking about, so it is actually a big deal. Antonio will draw first turn. I'm not sure if it's another Molten Steel or not, but if so, this is just Molten Steel Palooza over here. Another Cunning Spark Mage. Antonio just drawing dubs everywhere. And you should probably untap that Tumble Magnet that's turned to the side. Again, Antonio is a relatively new player to Magic, and this is his first match on camera, which doing well so far. I'm pleasantly surprised at his level of play at this point. Organizational skills doesn't really matter all that much. So, tapping down that Batter Skull. I'm not going to have any of those life gain shenanigans. Swinging in with Pro Red and all that fun stuff. Which if Antonio would use the Cunning Spark Mage, this issue would have been all said and done before the equip of the Sword of War and Peace. Oh, and there's an Argentum Armor. End of turn, he'll shoot off for 2. Untap. And now Gentum Armor can cause a lot of issues. He needs to be very, very careful with that. Very, very careful. Core's plan next turn should be at least to equip that to the other threat and start making him use double counter turn. He'll play a Basilisk Collar. And in Big Red Machine, that is a beating. So he's going to put that Basilisk Collar to the Molten Steel Dragon, and then now we have some fun. Now is when some fun happens. So he'll pay 1, end up going up 5. Corey will go down 5. I'm not entirely sure if he paid any life off this, but I don't think so. There's no reason to if you're not in range to kill. You end up paying 2 life, you end up getting 1 life back off the hit. So definitely a fun little trick. If I was Antonio, as soon as he goes for the equip, you tap both of them down. No, actually that's not true, in case he has a Pure Steel. If he has Pure Steel, then you don't. So you wait for him to enter the battlefield, or to enter battle, and then you just tap them both down. Because then he can just go, oh yeah, equip for a thing, bring out Pure Steel, equip everything to Pure Steel Paladin, swing in for Ridiculous. I was going to equip that Argentum Armor to the current threat, to the current big guy. Antonio, whenever it swings, it will destroy one of your permanents. Yeah, you tap that down. He's going to tap down the other one with the Tumble Magnet. So Antonio will end up tapping both those guys out. I'll play Squad Hawk. Squad Hawk will search out some of his buddies. Antonio will kill the Squad Hawk immediately. I think Antonio is wondering if it's killed as soon as it enters the battlefield, if it still gets to search out its buddies. But yeah, because when it enters the battlefield effect instead of... Actually, I don't know, but yeah, it's when it enters the battlefield. So, untap, Antonio draws, things land, yep. So, Antonio's going to swing in for tons, and that'll be game. Antonio pumping up all the way, getting the W, and the handshake. Corey put up a good fight in that game. Definitely a very scary deck to go up against with that all those equipments. But last week of Stoneforge, we'll see how that deck evolves, if it does, or if it just goes away completely. And we're going to go on to round 2. Antonio Illis wins round 1 against Corey Patient. Please subscribe, check out our other videos, and I'll see you later.